Hey everyone, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the basics of the portrait retouching. Basically, in this lecture, we are going to learn some important tools which are absolutely necessary if you want to do the portrait retouching. Because without these tools, you cannot do the professional portrait retouching. These tools would help you to clean up the face or make your image look the best. So without further ado, let's dive in and start learning. So the before we start portrait retouching, we have to identify what are the things which we need to do in any image. As you can see in this image, first of all, we have to identify the areas on which we want to work. So let me show you on this face. Here is a spot, here is a spot, here is a spot, and we need to clean up some these of hairs which are stranded over here. All right, and little bit over here these spots, some of these freckles. If you want to remove it, I would like to remove it or even make them less visible or not that visible, and these hairs, etc. And you can see this hair is also not looking good, so we need to fix this one as well. And little bit of stranded hairs over here and there. So these are the things which we need to first cover up. Okay, for this purpose we need some tool. So there are various tools available within the Photoshop using which you can easily clean up all this task, or you can easily do this task. So I'll show you each and every tool and you will decide which one is best for you, because some people feel comfortable using one tool and some people feel comfortable doing the another tool. So let's start. If you come over here on this side, there is a tool. If you click on this is called the spot healing brush tool. So this is the spot healing brush tool. If you hover your mouse, it's gonna show you that there is a spot healing brush, and it also shows you the preview that how you can use it. It is used to clean up some spots or dark spots. Okay, and the shortcut keyboard command for this tool, the spot healing brush tool, is the J on your keyboard. All right, and if you press and hold, you will see there are some other tools as well. So second one is the healing brush tool. So both works as the same, but I'll show you how they work and what is the difference between these of two, but they works almost similarly. Okay, one is a automatic tool and second is a manual tool. So in the first tool, it is going to automatically pick the samples from the best areas and it's going to fix your spot or any spot or blemishes. So it just does that. And second one is manual tool, where you have to define the areas from which you want the Photoshop or this tool to pick the sample and paste on the spot or the blemishes. So you can see, and third one is the patch tool. Patch tool again is a manual tool, so you can manually define the area from where you want to pick the sample. And you can see over here, both of these or all of these, they do have the same shortcut keyboard command, and that is the J. You can see if I click over here, if I press and hold, you can see the shortcut keyboard command for all of these tools are J. But if you first press the J, this tool is going to be selected, and if you want to switch over to the next tool, you need to press and hold shift while pressing the J. So press the shift button and then press the J. It's going to toggle between all of these tools. And the second one is the content aware move tool, which is basically not useful for the portrait retouching. However, you can use it for different other tasks. Okay, and next is the red eye removal tool. This is also somewhat useful if your shot has the red eye, and if you are a professional photographer and if you know how to take the proper shots, then it's rare that your image will have the red eyes. But if you are shooting with the mobile camera, then most likely if you're shooting at night, you will get this red eye. So using this, you can easily remove the red eyes. So I'm not going to go deep into this tool, so we are going to discuss only these three tools. So let's dive in and let's learn about these tools. So once I have selected this tool, you need to come over here on the layers panel, and I have created a blank layer. So let me just delete it and show you. So at the moment we have only one layer, that is the background layer, or which is this main image. So if you want to dive into the non-destructive editing, then you need to keep or preserve this layer as it is, and you should work on separate layers so that your main image or main layer remains as it is. So for that purpose, what you need to do, you need to come down over here and click this page like icon, so that way you can create a blank layer. So if I click over here, you can see it has created a blank layer over here. So this is how we need to keep on creating new layers and start working on them so that our main image remains as it is. So that is the professional non-destructive editing. That's how most of the professionals work. Okay, so now we will select this tool by pressing J on our keyboard. All right, so you can see this tool is selected, and now we will come on the top to see what are the options available with us. So this is the tool, and if I click over here, you can define some presets for this tool. So basically if you change any of these settings, and then you can save those settings over here. So this is basically of no use because nobody does that. Even I never did this, but if you want, you can do this. All right, and second is the brush size. So here you can change the size of the brush. Here you can change the hardness of the brush if you want to, and if you want, you can change the spacing between the brush. Okay, so these are different options, and here if you are using the pen tablet, you can choose the pen pressure or you can turn it off. All right, so sometimes I work with the pen tool, sometimes I don't. So you can do this with the help of this one. And let me give you a quick tip that if you want to increase or decrease size, it's very difficult to come over here again and again from your image and change the size. So for that purpose, you can press the left bracket key or the right bracket key. So that way, if you can increase or decrease the size. So if you'll press the left bracket key, it's going to decrease the size of the brush, and if you press the right bracket key, it's going to increase the size of the brush. So that's how you can change the size quickly and work on the area depending on the area or the size of the spots or the blemishes. Okay, so that was the brush option, and next is the mode option. So mode option is basically different options where you have the replace option. Multiply is going to make the area darker, and screen is going to make it lighter. Darker is again going to make it even darker, and lighten, and color and luminosity. So these are different options, but normal works the best, so you don't have to touch them. We will change these settings of the mode in the different tool, and that is the stamp tool. So where that would work fine, but for this tool, don't go for these one unless you want some crazy results. So it is recommended that don't go for these one, just go for the normal one. Okay, and then we have the option of content aware, and we have the option of create texture. So content aware is basically an intelligent way of fixing these spots. So if I'll just paint over here, let me show you, it's going to automatically take the sample from the surrounding areas, and it's going to fill in or try to fix it with that. You can see we have successfully removed these spots. So all I have to do, just paint over here. So that is the content aware basically, but content aware is basically helpful and it works best when you want to fill this area with something else. All right, so this is basically would be useful for the patch tool but not this tool. All right, I don't know, they have given this option, but if you want, and if you press the create texture, so it is going to create some textures. So if I just paint over here, let's see what happens. It has created this blurry line, so it has tried to create some texture, which is not good. Okay, so it's not going to give you the good result. So I'll press Ctrl Z to go back and select the content aware, and this is again would be useful when you will be using the patch tool. Then we have the proximity match. Proximity match is again, this is a different option where it is going to try to take the sample which is most closely to this area. All right, but I think content aware, let it be default one. And second option we have over here is of the sample all layer. So if I just uncheck it, in most of your cases, if you have never used this tool, this sample all layers must have been unchecked. So what it does, it basically, you can see at the moment we are working on the blank layer, and I have unchecked this sample all layers, and if I just try to paint over here, you can see it's not doing anything because there is nothing to sample from, because this layer is totally empty, it has no pixels. So for that purpose we need to check it so that we can work on the blank layer, otherwise it's not going to work. So let me do undo, press undo, and let me start painting over here, and now it works fine. So always remember to check this sample all layers, otherwise this brush tool is going to, this spot healing brush tool would work as a brush, simple brush. So you can paint and you will see what kind of a result it's going to give us. Let me undo it and let me check it. So that was the basic of the spot healing brush tool. All right, so that's very good. And now let's move on to the second tool. So in the next lecture we are going to learn about the second tool, that is the healing brush tool. All right, I hope you have understood this tool, and if you have any question, you can leave that in the question answer section or in the comment section. So thank you so much, see you in the next lecture.